We checked everything. Front door, locked. Back door, locked. Every window on every floor. We reviewed 6 hours of security camera footage, frame by frame, the police and I, sitting in my kitchen at 3 a.m. Every angle, every timestamp, every single entry point to that house, nothing. No one came in, no one went out. And yet, when we walked upstairs and opened my daughter's bedroom door, it was sitting in the corner, completely still, watching us. A clown. White face, red smile, pale, colorless eyes that didn't blink once while we stood frozen in that doorway. The officer beside me said, "Sir, how long do you think it's been in there?" And my daughter, 7 years old, gripping the back of my shirt, said quietly, "Daddy, that's not new. That's been there for weeks." 14 months ago, I moved into a new house with my wife, Sarah, and our daughter, Mia. Good neighborhood, good schools, big backyard. The kind of place you move into and think, this is it. This is the one. For the first 3 months, everything was completely normal. The first sign came on a Tuesday morning. Mia came downstairs holding a small figurine, a clown 4 inches tall, white and red with a tiny permanent smile. She held it out and said, "Can I keep him? He was on my windowsill." I had never seen it in my life. Sarah hadn't either. We asked where it came from, a friend, school, anywhere? Mia shook her head. "He was just there when I woke up." We assumed she had found it somewhere and forgotten. We put it in a drawer. 3 days later, it was sitting on top of the refrigerator. Neither of us had touched it. I asked Mia. She said, "He moves himself, Daddy. He likes to see the whole room." I threw it in the outdoor trash bin that night, watched it land at the bottom, put the lid back on. The next morning, it was on her windowsill again. I installed security cameras the following week. 4 of them, front door, back door, hallway outside Mia's room, kitchen. I told Sarah it was peace of mind. She looked at me and said nothing. For 11 days, the cameras showed nothing unusual. On the 12th day, I was reviewing overnight footage during lunch. Everything normal until 3:04 a.m. The hallway camera went to static for exactly 47 seconds. When it came back, the hallway was empty. All doors were closed. But on the floor outside Mia's bedroom, where there had been nothing at 3:03 a.m., there was now a red balloon, inflated, tied to the door handle with a long white string. I left work immediately. I told Sarah to stay downstairs. I went up alone. The balloon was real. I held it in my hands, completely ordinary. But the string was old, coarse and darkened, like it had been kept somewhere damp for a very long time. I opened Mia's bedroom door. Empty. Everything in place. Except the figurine, the one I had thrown in the outdoor bin, was back on the windowsill, facing inward this time, facing the room, when before it had always faced the window. And beside it, drawn on the inside of the glass in white grease paint, was a handprint. 5 fingers, large, adult-sized, on the inside of the glass. I went to my neighbor that evening, Mr. Halverson, 31 years on that street. When he opened the door and saw my face, something shifted in his expression, like he had been expecting this conversation for a long time. He made tea, he sat down, Before I said anything, he asked, "How long have you been in that house now?" I told him everything. The figurine, the balloon, the handprint on the inside of the glass. He listened without interrupting, without showing surprise. When I finished, he said, "The family before you left after 6 weeks didn't tell the real estate agent why. The family before them left everything, furniture, clothes, everything. Just walked out one night and never came back. I watched them load nothing into their car, just themselves." I asked what was in the house. He looked at his tea. "I don't know what it is, but it's been there longer than any family who ever moved in. The original owners in the 80s. Their daughter used to talk about a clown that lived in the walls. They thought she was imagining things." He paused. "She stopped talking about it eventually. Stopped talking about most things, actually." I asked if he had ever seen anything himself. He was quiet for a long time. "Once, late at night, I looked out my window, the one facing your upstairs hallway. The light was on and there was something standing in it. Tall, white, very still." He stopped. I told myself it was a coat on a hook. I went back to bed. He looked at me. "There's no coat hook in that hallway, is there?" There wasn't. November 28th. Mia had been saying for 2 weeks that someone stood at the foot of her bed every night and watched her sleep. We had checked every single night. Nothing there. That night, Sarah and I took shifts, sitting in Mia's room in the dark. I took the first shift. 2 hours. Nothing. Door closed, window locked, closet door closed. Every 20 minutes, I swept the room with my phone flashlight. Empty every time. At 2:51 a.m., Mia murmured something in her sleep. I leaned forward. She said it again. One word. Very soft. "He's here." I turned on the flashlight and swept the room. The closet door was open. 6 inches. Just enough for darkness to spill out into the room. And in that darkness, in that thin gap between door and frame, an eye. White face, barely visible. One pale, colorless eye, completely still, watching me through the gap. With the patience of something that had been waiting in small dark spaces for a very long time. I grabbed Mia without waking her and backed out of that room without taking my eyes off the closet. I called for Sarah. The flashlight stayed pointed at the closet door. The door swung fully open, slowly, without being touched. The closet was empty, but on the closet floor, arranged in a perfect circle facing inward, were 11 clown figurines. Every size, every style, some new, some ancient. In the center of the circle, sitting upright, was the original one. The small white and red one I had thrown in the trash all those weeks ago. Every single figurine was facing the same direction, the doorway, where I was standing. Stay with me. Because what the police found the next morning, what was on that security footage, changes everything about this story. Subscribe, hit the bell. 2 more minutes. Stay. Police came at 7 a.m. 2 officers, professional, skeptical, polite. They reviewed 47 days of continuous footage from every camera, every night, every hallway, every door. Nothing. Not a single camera had captured anything entering or leaving that house that shouldn't be there. No intruder, no figure, no movement in any hallway on any night. One officer leaned forward and said, "Where did the balloon come from if nothing entered?" The younger officer, quiet, hadn't spoken much, said something I have thought about every day since. What if it didn't enter? What if it was already inside before the cameras went up? What if it's been there the whole time? We went upstairs together. Both officers, Sarah and me. The bedroom door swung open. The older officer stepped inside and stopped. He was staring at the corner of the room, diagonally opposite the closet, directly facing Mia's bed. "Sir, how long has that been there?" I looked at the corner. Sitting on the floor, back perfectly straight, pale eyes open and unblinking. The clown. Not a figurine. Full size. Full costume. White and red and ancient. Watching us with the absolute stillness of something that has never needed to breathe. No one had heard it enter. The cameras had not seen it. The officers had been with us the entire time. It had not come in. It had simply been there, already inside, sitting in that corner in the dark every single night while my daughter slept 6 feet away. The younger officer stepped forward and reached toward it. It smiled. Not the painted smile, underneath the paint. Real. Slow and wide and deeply, deeply wrong. The younger officer stepped back. The older one grabbed his radio. And then it turned its head, slowly, deliberately, with the mechanical precision of something that had learned to mimic movement but never understood why living things move, and looked directly at me. Past both officers, past Sarah, specifically at me, in a voice that came from everywhere at once, from the walls, the floor, from inside my own chest. It said, "I was here before you came. I will be here after you leave." Then it was gone. Between one blink and the next, completely gone. The corner was empty. The officers stood with their radios half raised and said nothing for almost a full minute. We left that house the same day, no packing. We took Mia, our phones, and the car. We left everything else inside. The house sold 8 months later. I don't know who bought it. I hope they never find this video. But here is the thing I keep coming back to. The thing that still doesn't let me sleep. The clown said it was there before we came. That means it was there for the family before us. And the family before that. And the little girl in the 80s who talked about a clown living in the walls. It was sitting in her corners too, watching for decades, maybe much, much longer. And before that house, it was somewhere else. Another house, another family, another set of rooms where children slept and parents thought they were safe. It moves. It has always moved. It doesn't break in through doors or windows. It is simply already there. By the time you ever feel its presence, by the time you find it, see it, know with cold certainty that something is wrong, it has already been inside for a very long time. So I want to ask you one thing before you go. Think about your house right now. Think about the rooms you are not currently in. Think about the corners you haven't looked at today. Think about the closet door that you thought was closed. Are you absolutely certain, completely, entirely certain, that you are alone?